Hi book nerds, Mary here. I just finished listening to The Wisdom of Crowds by Joe Abercrombie. It is the third book in the Age of Madness trilogy, which is a continuation of the First Law world. And in general, I felt like this series was not quite up to the level of the original First Law trilogy. But I have to tell you, this final book was amazing. It kept me on the edge of my seat. I primarily listened to it on audio, and I could feel the stress in my body. I'm going to try to talk about it with little to no spoilers, but I will tell you, if you haven't read any of the books, this could be a little bit spoilerish for the next little bit. This book examines what happens if the revolutionaries win, if they take power, if the people who have been fighting against, in this case, the monarchy, take power, what happens? And I feel it does a great job of kind of being honest about human nature and mob mentality and what can happen when these emotions take over everything. And it's not pretty. One of the complaints I've had with the first two books in the series is that Joe Abercrombie did not seem willing to really any of the characters. And in this one, there are several surprising losses. And I really feel like he was able to find the balance of the action, the character work, and making some statements along the way about, again, human nature and the world that we live in. So again, I loved it. I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars. It can't quite get to that 5-star level for me for a couple reasons, which would be spoilerish, so I'm not going to talk about them. But fantastic. 4.5 out of 5 stars. I'm going to leave you with a few quotes that really stuck with me. She never saw more damage done than by folk acting on high principle. Evil is not the opposite of good. It is what we call another man's notion of good when it differs from ours. One must keep a close eye on the current definitions. To be unpatriotic would be terrible. To be patriotic in the wrong way could be fatal. The thing about history is you don't know what the right side is till long afterwards. And by then, it hardly matters. I will say with that last quote, there is a debate there between a couple characters about saying that, you don't know the right thing to do until later. It's kind of a cop-out, and it's what people who are on the wrong side of history say, but I still found it a very interesting quote. History is not the story of battles between right and wrong, but between one man's right and another's. And then the last one is a quote about how women and men are judged differently. Her mother had always warned her, a man is judged by his best moment, a woman by her worst. We've seen that. Anyway, I won't keep raving about this, but I do highly recommend it. If you enjoy fantasy novels, if you enjoy grimdark, it is dark. Be prepared. But I really liked it. So 4.5 out of 5 stars for The Wisdom of Crowds. And I cannot wait. There is such a great setup for the next trilogy in this world. And I cannot wait for Joe Abercrombie to put that out. Anyway, I hope you all have a great day. Talk to you soon. Bye.